y'all, it's Maddie from the Itty Bitty Homestead Committee. I am having quite the hair day today, but yesterday we went to show, we had a great time. I'm gonna show y'all some of the footage from vlogging and kind of give you the results and talk about the implications of the results that I got, because there's a lot to go through, and some of it's really great and some of it's not so great, and there's gonna be a lot of changes in the Rabbitry, so let's hop into it. Just got to the rabbit show with 45 minutes to spare. I didn't think we were gonna get here in time, but I have everything ready and I'm excited, like super excited.
Is going to be starting with Open Netherland Dwarfs. That's over here on the east side as well. And Daniel, who's down here on the south side, is going to be starting with Open Californians. So you can start bringing the rabbits up.
So it is the day after competition. I have sat down, gone over notes, and thought of some things. So let's talk about what happened, the good, the bad, the ugly, and some of the changes that'll happen in our barn. First off, the good. I always like starting on a good note because we did have some good things. These are my mini Rex. These are the breed that I have been on to the longest and that I grew up around and that I learned off of when my friend introduced me to the rabbit world. So mini Rex are my babies. With that being said, these two did absolutely fantastic. Cyrex right here got a best opposite, meaning she basically came in second place, because how it works is first place will be, let's say, a buck, and then second place, they'll get the best opposite, though, so they choose the best doe. So she came in second, best opposite, did absolutely fantastic. Some notes on her was she had a very strong shoulder and that she needed to fill in a little more on the top line. And that once she fills in a little bit more, it'll help with this area right here, because right now she's sloping off a little bit. And as she gets older, she'll fill in right here. That jerk in the back got a best of group, best of variety, and she did pretty well. Her first class, she was a little dehydrated because she was boycotting water. So once we got some water in her and forced her to drink it, she was doing better. I have these two together because they were a little stressed out last night and I didn't want to necessarily put any extra stress onto them and their litter mates. So trying to have them calm down a bit. Neither of them really liked show, so to speak. But with Velma in the back there, she did really well. The notes that she got from her, again, a very strong shoulder and work on the top line. They both had great coat density, and Cyrax had no complaint when it came to anything, when it came to her coloration. The judge loved her coloration, said that she had a beautiful rufous and that her rings were very well defined, and that he just overall just thought she was a beautiful color, and basically said if we fill her up a bit more, she is going to be fantastic. But when it came to Velma, when it came to her fur, the density was there, but the judge said that she was a little lemony, and this was multiple judges in the competition, but she was a little lemony, and that her banding was a little muddy, and he wants to see a clearer banding. So so he wants a more defined line. So that's nothing I can fix on her, but it's something I can fix when it comes to her children and selective breeding. Middle ground. Mercury went to show. The judges really liked her. They said that she had a fantastic shoulder and that has a bit weak of a rear end, but some of that could be some junior needing to fill out. And that if we could fill it out, she had some really nice depth and she has some great potential. And they said she had a really great fur type, even though she is slightly over silvered. Pairing her to an animal like Wiley would be extremely beneficial. That being said, staring right at her, if y'all know anything about silver foxes, she was DQ'd in every single show. I knew she would be. I just wanted some input on this doe. And she actually was taken for one of the one of the youth events called Find the DQ. And she got to go play with a bunch of little kids who kind of evaluated her to see why she was DQ'd in every event. And she did so well for the kids. But she has this random white dot on her nose. And that is a DQ within the rabbit world. It's not a big deal. We'll do some test breedings on her to see if she herself produces those white dots. But her type is good enough to where I don't want to necessarily get rid of her on that. I prefer to do some test breedings. But there is this gene called the random white spot gene, which is different than the Vienna gene. So it's just something you have to play with within your lines to kind of see what it is. But definitely want to breed her to Wiley to get some beautiful kits, especially with how good of a shoulder she has. And then this right here, the back end and the top line can be filled in over time. Then there was the shithead, Miss Cookie. Miss Cookie caused quite a kit and caboodle at show yesterday, in that the first show she was in, I threw her up on table, and we actually have one of the best champagne breeders in the United States. One of his bucks that he brought has 25 best of breed legs. Let that sink in. He has 25 best of breed legs, which means he's gone to a show where there was enough Champagne des Argents and one best of breed 25 times with this buck. And that buck was gorgeous. And the two animals he brought were spectacular. And he was so wonderful to talk to. He was so sweet. He took one look at my rabbit and goes, "That's not a Champagne." I go, I don't know what else she's supposed to be. Her parents are Champagnes. And I showed her pictures of Moose and Belle. And he looks at those. He goes, "Yeah, those are Champagnes." And he's like, "That's what the litter came out as?" I say, "Yes, sir, that's what the litter came out as." And while we were talking, the judge took Cookie to all of the other judges that were behind the table. There were probably 6 judges in total, I think, yesterday. But took them to each individual judge, and they were talking about Cookie, and they were flipping her over and looking at her fur. And oh my God, the kit and caboodle this kit caused. And he goes, "How old is she?" 12 weeks old. And the breeder also, he put hands on her. He was playing with her fur and he goes, "I am so sorry, but her fur is finished." He goes, "She is not going to get any lighter." And I was like, "Oh, that sucks." He goes, where are your lines out of?" I said, "Oh, they're out of New York." And he goes, he goes, "I think I know what your problem is." So apparently there are lines in the East Coast where breeders are using New Zealand blacks to improve their lineage, and somewhere along the line, be it the breeder I got my rabbits off of or the breeder that he got those rabbits off of, was not honest about the lineage or the pedigree or how they were improving their lines. And this looks to be a throwback. So I need to sit down and decide what to do, because Moose isn't a purebred, which means Cookie isn't a purebred. And they're throwing this, which means it's close enough in the pedigree to where it'll probably do it again. So I have some numbers of Champagne breeders in the area that they've been approved. They're not doing these things. They actually have Champagne des Argents and from original lines that were brought over here from Europe. So some really nice lines. And my friend is taking Moose for a month so I can cool off a little bit so I don't just butcher him out for funsies. And I need to figure out what I am doing with Miss Cookie, because even though she got disqualified because she was not a good example of the breed, which, okay, completely understand, every single judge posed her up, looked at her, and said that she had amazing type and that her body type is spectacular. And if she had the right coloring, she probably would have easily done well within show. It's just she doesn't fit the standard, which is so frustrating. I really thought that maybe I just had a line that was taking its gosh darn time shedding out. So Miss Cookie, we gotta figure out what to do with her, or what I want to do with her, because she is beautiful, but she isn't a champagne. Another comment that was commonly coming up at show was my animals' top lines. They weren't filled in. Now, I did take a bunch of juniors to show, so they weren't seniors, so they do have some filling in to do. But I have a huge problem in the winter keeping condition on my rabbits in general. The seniors, it's not too bad, but the juniors, filling them out is a pain in my ass. And my sweet friend Casey was like, let me talk to you and I'm gonna grab my feed guy. So we're switching feeds to Humboldt. I think Humboldt, I think I'm saying it correctly. It's one of the few feeds in the United States that is specifically formulated for show rabbits, and there's a distributor in the area. So I'm going to switch feeds and we're going to be on a more consistent feed that's way better quality, because right now it's a little frustrating with these juniors filling them out in the winter. So the big changes in my barn, is figuring out what I'm going to do with my champagnes, if I'm completely getting rid of them and starting a new next year. And feed. We're changing feed. We're switching it up. We're going to do something better to maybe save some money. For one, it's cheaper as a whole. And then also, in theory, I won't need to feed as much. So it'll be cheaper on that end too. So yeah, there are a lot of things going on. I am not happy about some things, but I'm trying to hold on to the good things. The good things being that I have some beautiful mini Rex that I have been working on very hard. And if I could just get their top line to fill in, they are going to be spectacular. So they have a few more months before they hit senior age, not senior weight. They're still a bit off on senior weight. They were barely making junior weight. And it's not that they were horrible, they're just on the smaller side. Some of that is because they're babies. Some of that is because I'm having the speed issue. So I get them to get filled in more. They are going to be amazing. I might take them to convention. I might take Cyrax to convention. That's terrifying to think about. And if I can plan it out correctly, I can take her when she's about 2 weeks pregnant to really give her that nice chunkiness, and that would really fill her in for depth. But I'm still thinking on it. So Cyrax, I'm probably gonna hold off on breeding her, and in January, she'll be a senior age, and I'm gonna take her as a senior to Plate River, see what they think of her, and then decide from there. For my other little caster, I'll probably do the same, although she's not, with her ring definition, she's not a convention bunny. She will never be a convention bunny because her ring definition is just not there. And with everyone else, I'm just gonna figure it out. Cookie's gonna be gone. Moose is going to my friend's house while I make some hard decisions. She's just gonna borrow him for a project she's gonna work on, which, okay. She'll take good care of him. And then I'm going to breed Mercury to Wiley. I have some butchers coming up. We're gonna butcher out not Wiley. We're gonna butcher out Alpha. We're gonna butcher out Lalo. We're gonna butcher out Freddy, 3 Bucks, 1, and Penguin. So my numbers are going down again. And we're gonna do the gosh darn thing. And also, my friend who is taking Moose is gonna let me borrow her tricolored buck to breed to Emma and Lizzie, so I can get some beautiful chocolates out of him, hopefully, and I'm going to trade her for some tri-does, hopefully, out of her buck. So anyway, that's what's going on. That is the hubbub, and I'm living, I'm here, but thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.